What's up, guys? Reading the Bible, Book of Leviticus, Book of Leviticus, chapter 13, maybe all the way to 18. Let's see how much we get into today. What's up, Vuk? See you tomorrow, man. About to catch a plane after this wedding today. Be there. Look at me. Look at you. Yeah. What's up, guys? What's up? I'm not gonna do any live stream requests, man. We just reading the Bible. I see those palm trees. Can't wait. See you tomorrow. Yep. Palm trees. We out here still. We in Hawaii, man. We in Hawaii. We living good. How I feel, bro, man. I don't know. I might be coming down with something. I got a little nose congestion. My baby was sick, and when your baby's sick, you just get sick. It just kind of happens. But other than that, I feel amazing. All right. Let's see. So we're gonna get into this chapter 13 right now. Chapter 13 is about leprosy. Chapter 14 is also about kind of leprosy. Atonement. What's up, guys? What's up? All right. Let's get into it. Father God, be with us as I read. Just take over my mouth. Speak the words that need to be spoken. As I read these words in here, if you need me to clarify things, Father God, I just pray that you put the words in my mouth to clarify them exactly. And I pray that whoever needs to hear this message, it finds them across their screen. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, when a man has on the skin, on his body, a swelling or a scab or a bright spot, and it becomes an infection of leprosy of the skin of his body, then he shall be brought to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons' priests. The priest shall look at the mark on the skin of the body, and if the hair in the infection has turned white, and the infection appears to be deeper than the skin of his body, it is an infection of leprosy. When the priest has looked at him, he shall pronounce him unclean. But if the bright spot is white on the skin of his body, and it does not appear to be deeper than the skin, and the hair on it has not turned white, then the priest shall isolate him who has the infection for 7 days. The priest shall look at him on the seventh day, and if in his eyes the infection has not changed, and the infection has not spread on the skin, then the priest shall isolate him for 7 more days. The priest shall look at him again on the seventh day, and if the infection has faded on the mark, and the mark has not spread on the skin, and the priest shall pronounce him, it is only a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scab spreads farther on the skin after he has shown himself to the priest for his cleansing, he shall appear again to the priest. The priest shall look, and if the scab has spread on the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is leprosy. When the infection of leprosy is on the man, then he shall be brought to the priest. The priest shall then look, and if there is a white swelling in the skin, and it has turned his hair white, and there is quick raw flesh in the swelling, it is chronic leprosy on the skin of his body, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean. He shall not isolate him, for he is unclean. He shall not isolate him, for he is unclean. If the leprosy breaks out farther on the skin, and the leprosy covers all the skin of him who has the infection from his head even to his feet, as far as the priest can see, then the priest shall look, and behold, if the leprosy has covered all his body, he shall pronounce clean him who has the infection. It has turned all white, and he is clean. But whenever raw flesh appears on him, he shall be unclean. The priest shall look at the raw flesh, and he shall pronounce him unclean. The raw flesh is unclean, it is leprosy. Or if the raw flesh turns again and is changed to white, then he shall come to the priest, and the priest shall look at him. And behold, if the infection has turned to white, then the priest shall pronounce clean him who has the infection, he is clean. When the body has a boil on its skin and it is healed, and in the place of the boil there is a white swelling of a reddish-white bright spot, then it shall be shown to the priest, and the priest shall look, and behold, if it appears to be lower than the skin, and the hair on it has turned white, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the infection of leprosy. It has broken out in the boil. So basically, these priests are like doctors, man. They be determining if someone's sick or not. Give stepmom something. Show your boobs. Dude, you can't just be commenting that stuff on here. I don't like blocking people, but you're gonna be blocked if you're out here saying weird stuff, man. Alright. Or infection, he is unclean. When the body has a boil on its skin and it is healed, and in the place of the boil there is a white swelling or a reddish-white bright spot, then it shall be shown to the priest, and the priest shall look, and behold it, if it appears to be lower than the skin, and the hair on it has turned white, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the infection of leprosy. It has broken out and boiled. But if the priest looks at it, and behold, there are no white hairs in it, and it is not lower than the skin, and is faded, then the priest shall isolate him for 7 days. And if it spreads farther than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is infection. But if the bright spot remains in its place and does not spread, it is only the scar of the boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or if the body sustains in its skin a burn by fire, and the raw flesh of the burn becomes a bright spot, reddish white or white, then the priest shall look at it, and if the hair in the bright spot has turned white and appears to be deeper than the skin, it is leprosy, and it has broken out to the burn. Therefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is an infection of leprosy. But if the priest looks at it, and indeed there is no white in the bright spot, and it is no deeper than the skin, but is dim, then the priest shall isolate him for 7 days. And then the priest shall look at him on the 7th day. If it spreads farther than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is an infection of leprosy. But if the bright spot remains in the place, and it has no spread in the skin, but is dim, it is swelling from the burn, and the priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is only the scar of the burn. Now if a man or a woman has an infection on the head or on the beard, then the priest shall look at him and look at the infection, and if it appears to be deeper than the skin, and there is thin yellowish hair in it, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a scale, it is leprosy of the head or of the beard. But if the priest looks at the infection of the scale, and indeed it appears to be no deeper than the skin, and there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall isolate the person with scaly infection for 7 days. On the 7th day the priest shall look at the infection, and if the scale has not spread, and no yellowish hair has grown in it, and appearance of the scale is no deeper than the skin, then he shall shave himself, but he shall not shave the scale, and the priest shall isolate the person with the scale 7 more days. Then on the 7th day the priest shall look at the scale, and if the scale has not spread in the skin, and it appears to be no deeper than the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scale spreads further in the skin after cleansing, then the priest shall look at him, and if the scale has spread in the skin, the priest need not seek for the yellowish hair, he is unclean. If in his sight the scale has remained, however, the black hair has grown in it, the scale has healed, he is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. When a man or a woman has bright spots on the skin of the body, even white bright spots, then the priest shall look, and if the bright spots on the skin of their bodies are a faint white, it is eczema that has broken out of the skin, he is clean. Now if a man loses the hair of his head, he is bald, he is clean. But if on the bald head or the bald forehead there occurs a reddish white infection, it is leprosy breaking out of his bald head or on his bald forehead, then the priest shall look at him, and if the swelling of the infection is reddish white, and his bald head or his bald forehead like the appearance of leprosy in the skin of the body. He is a leprous man, he is unclean. The priest shall surely pronounce him unclean, his infection is on his head. As for the leper who has the infection, his clothes shall be torn, and the hair of his head shall be uncovered, and he shall cover his mustache and cry, unclean, unclean. He shall remain unclean all the days during which he has the infection. He is unclean. He shall live alone, his dwelling shall be outside the camp. When a garment has a mark of leprosy in it, whether it is wool garment or a linen garment, whether the warp of or woof, a linen or wool, whether in leather or in any article made of leather, if the mark is greenish or reddish in the garment or in the leather or in the warp or in the woof, or in the article of leather, it is leprous mark and shall be shown to the priest. The priest shall look at the mark and shall quarantine the article with the mark for 7 days. He shall then look at the mark on the 7th day. If the mark has spread in the garment, whether in the warp or in the woof or in the leather, whatever the purpose for which the leather is used, the mark is of leprosy, malignance, it is unclean. So you shall burn the garment, whether the warp or the woof, in wool or in linen, or an article of leather in which the mark occurs, for it is a leper's malignancy, it shall be burned in the fire. But if the priest shall look, and indeed the mark has not spread in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof or in the article of leather, then the priest shall order them to wash the thing in which the mark occurs, and he shall quarantine it for 7 more days. After the article with the mark has been washed, the priest shall look again, and if the mark has not changed its appearance, even though the mark has not spread, it is unclean. You shall burn it in fire, whether an eating away has produced bareness or the top of on the front of it. Then if the priest looks, and if the mark has faded after it has been washed, then he shall tear it out with the garment or out of the leather, whether from the warp or from the woof. And if it appears again in the garment, whether in the warp or in the woof or in any article of leather, it is an outbreak, and the article with the mark shall be burned in the fire. The garment, whether the warp or the woof or in any article of leather from which your mark has departed, when you washed it, it shall be washed a second time and will be clean. This is the law of the mark of leprosy in a garment of wool or linen, whether the warp or the woof, or in any article of leather, for pronouncing it clean or unclean. So he's just giving solid, is this in the Bible? I am reading the Bible. This is purely the Bible. I'm just reading the Bible. How should I start MMA as a 16-year-old with no MMA gym near me? You go get your mom to sign a waiver and go find a gym that's close to you. You need a gym. Gotta find a gym. It's gonna be hard to reach a high limit without ever not finding a gym. Oy. Alrighty. Let's see here. So that's chapter 13, a little bit of a longer one. We got chapter 14 next. Chapter 14 kind of long too. And then 15, 16, 17, and 18 are a little shorter. I think we'll hit all to 18 today. Alright. So that chapter is just talking about, it's really just what is a skin infection, which skin infections are like, how to tell if it's a bad skin infection or if it's not so bad skin infection, like what are they going to do if they got that infection. So these priests are kind of like the doctors at the same time. And God's just telling, because he's trying to keep everyone healthy. So he's giving these rules so that stuff don't just be spreading across everybody. So, law of cleansing a leper. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, this shall be the law of leper in the day of his cleansing. Now he shall be brought into the priest, and the priest shall go out to the outside of the camp. Thus the priest shall look out. And if the infection of leprosy has been healed in the leper, then the priest shall give orders to take 2 live clean birds and cedar wood and scarlet string and hyssop for the one who is to be cleansed. The priest shall also give orders to slay the one bird in the earthenware vessel over running water. As for the live bird, he shall take it together with the cedar wood and the scarlet string and the hyssop, and shall dip them and the live bird in the blood of the bird that was slain over the running water. He shall then sprinkle 7 times the one who is to be cleansed from the leprosy, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the bird go free over the open field. The one to be cleansed shall then wash his clothes and shave off all his hair and bathe in water and be clean. Now afterward he may enter the camp, but he shall stay outside his tent for 7 days. It will be on the 7th day that he shall shave off all his hair. He shall shave his head and his beard and his eyebrows, even all his hair. He shall then wash his clothes and bathe his body in water and be clean. Now on the 8th day he is to take 2 male lambs without defect, and a yearling ewe lamb without defect, and 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil for a grain offering, and 1 log of oil. And the priest who pronounces him clean shall present the man to be cleansed and the aforesaid before the Lord at the doorway of the tent of meeting. Then the priest shall take the 1 male lamb and bring it for a guilt offering with the log of oil, and present them as a wave offering before the Lord. Next he shall slaughter the male lamb in the place where they slaughter the sin offering and the burnt offering, at the place of the sanctuary, for the guilt offering, like the sin offering, belongs to the priest. It is mostly holy. The priest shall then take some of the blood of the guilt offering, and the priest shall put it in the lobe of the right ear and of the one to be cleansed, and on the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of the right foot. The priest shall also take some of the log of oil and pour it into his left palm. The priest shall then dip his right hand finger into the oil that is in his left palm with his finger. Sprinkle some of the oil 7 times before the Lord. Of the remaining oil which is in his palm, the priest shall put some on his right ear lobe of the one to be cleansed, and on the right thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on the blood of the guilt offering. While the rest of the oil that is in the priest's palm he shall put on his head of the one to be cleansed. So the priest shall take atonement of his behalf before the Lord. The priest shall next offer the sin offering and make atonement for the one to be cleansed from his uncleanness. Then afterward he shall slaughter the burnt offering. The priest shall offer up the burnt offering and the grain offering on the altar. Thus the priest shall make atonement for him and will be clean. But if he is poor and his means are insufficient, then he is to take 1 male lamb for a guilt offering as a wave of offering to make atonement for him, and 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil for grain offering, and a log of oil, and 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons which are within his means. The one that shall be a sin offering, and the other shall be a burnt offering. Then the 8th day he shall bring them for his cleansing to the priest at the doorway of the tent of meeting before the Lord. The priest shall take the lamb of the guilt offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall offer them for a wave offering before the Lord. Next he shall slaughter the lamb of the guilt offering, and the priest is to take some of the blood of the guilt offering and put it on the lobe of the right ear of the one to be cleansed, and on the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of the right foot. The priest shall also pour some of the oil into his left palm, and with his right hand finger the priest shall sprinkle some of the oil that is in his left palm 7 times before the Lord. The priest shall then put some of the oil that is on the lobe of the right ear of the one to be cleansed, and on the thumb of the right hand and on the big toe of the right foot, on the place of the blood of the guilt offering. Moreover, the rest of the oil that is in the priest's palm he shall put on the head of the one to be cleansed, to make atonement on his behalf before the Lord. He shall then offer 1 of the turtle doves or young pigeons which are within his means. He shall offer what he can afford, the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, together with the grain offering. So the priest shall make atonement before the Lord on behalf of the one to be cleansed. This is the law for him in whom there is an infection of leprosy, whose means are limited for his cleansing. So that's how you cleanse a person, and it's going to go on to cleansing a house. So just kind of circle back. So when you have leprosy, you got to wait out for like 7 days or whatever. They check on you, you make sure you're good. If you are good, and they're like, all right, you're kind of like, you can come back now, then you got to do like a full-on cleansing. Wow, leper in the beard, cleansing, no, you shall not. And the priest shall go out and say, does the priest shall make affection of priest shall give order to take to because it says, now he shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall go out to the outside of the camp. Thus the priest shall look, and if the infection of leprosy has been healed in the leper, then the priest shall give orders to take 2 live clean birds and cedar. So if you're a leper, you got to leave camp. You can't be with everyone because you're unclean. But after you're cast out, when they look at you, they're like, all right, like, it looks like you're good. In order to come back in, you haven't been doing your daily atonements or your offerings. So then you got to be re-cleaned so you can go back inside camp with everybody else. And then once you do that, then you're good. Because like I mentioned before, being with God, you have to, like, we're all dirty. We kind of don't deserve to be in his presence. We have to be clean to be in his presence. So, like, we don't have to anymore. Because, like, we don't have to do little sacrifices every day because we have the ultimate sacrifice. We have Jesus to accept as our sacrifice. And if we accept Jesus as our sacrifice, he kind of fulfills all this as a one shot, full on. Like, Jesus is like, I got it. I'm the perfect sacrifice. I'm the only sacrifice you'll ever need. But before Jesus, they had to do all this stuff to stay clean and be in the presence of God. But all we got is Jesus. Jesus already died for our sins, all the ones that has happened, all the ones that are happening, and all the ones that will happen. Jesus cleansed us completely, so we don't have to do this, like, pushing all our sins onto an ox or a goat or a sheep or a pigeon if we can't afford those things. We don't have to do that anymore because we have Jesus. They didn't have Jesus though. This is all pre-Jesus, in the sense of him coming here and dying for pre-Jesus, not pre-Jesus, because Jesus hasn't always have been. This is pre-Jesus' sacrifice. So he hasn't done the sacrifice yet. So these guys can't kind of, they have to do the sacrifices themselves. The Lord Father spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, when you enter the land of Canaan, which I give you for a possession, and I put a mark of leprosy on a house in the land of your possession, then the one who owns the house shall come and tell the priest, saying something like, a mark of leprosy has become visible to me in the house. The priest shall then command that they empty the house before the priest goes in to look at the marks, so that everything in the house needs to not become unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in to look at the house. So he shall look at the mark, and if the mark on the walls of the house has greenish or reddish depression and appears deeper than the surface, then the priest shall come out of the house to the doorway and quarantine the house for 7 days. The priest shall return on the 7th day and make an inspection. If the mark has indeed spread in the walls of the house, then the priest shall order them to tear out the stones with the mark in them and throw them away at an unclean place outside the city. He shall then have his house scraped all around and inside. Then they shall dump the plaster and they scrape off at an unclean place outside the city. Then they shall take other stones and replace those stones, and he shall take other plaster and replace that house. Just kind of dawned on me. That's kind of like what this, like the idea of leprosy, this infection. It's like, it's cancerous, and because it's an infection, so it spreads. And God is telling them, like, this stuff will spread to the whole house if I see a mark. So, like, you go check on it. If it is leprosy, then it'll spread. So what they do is, as it's spreading, like, oh, it is. So they just pull off the stones, take it, throw it away. They dump it somewhere else. They're like, let's not have anything in here, because keeping that stuff around you will ruin not just you, but everything that is connected to it, everything that is in its presence. And that was a big reason why he got rid of Sodom and Gomorrah. I've gone back to it a couple of times, but also the reason why he got rid of the Israelites that left Egypt when Moses came back with the 10 Commandments, and some of them started worshiping the cow and the other ones didn't. Some of them repented and were like, sorry, sorry, God. Please forgive me. Other ones were like, I'm good. I think I'm going to just worship this cow instead. So then God had to do that same thing here. He's asking to get rid of those stones, remove them from the wall. He had to remove them from the tribe that was traveling with them, because if not checked, they would spread, and they would be basically like leprosy and just end up kind of infecting everybody else and turning them against God. Okay. Where we at? Something like a mark of leprosy, quarantine. Shall take other stones, replace those stones, and he shall take the other plaster and replace the plaster. If, however, the mark breaks out again in the house that has torn out the stones and scraped the house, and after it has been replastered, then the priest shall come in and make an inspection. If he sees that the mark has indeed spread in the house, it is a malignant mark in the house, it is unclean. He shall therefore tear down the house, its stones and its timbers, and shall the plaster and all the plaster of the house, and it shall take them outside the city to an unclean place. Moreover, whoever goes into the house during the time that has a quarantine that has quarantined it becomes unclean until evening. Likewise, whoever lies down in the house shall wash his clothes, and whoever eats in the house shall wash his clothes. If, on the other hand, the priest comes in and makes an inspection, and the mark has not indeed spread in the house after the house has been replastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the mark has not spread or reappeared. To cleanse the house, then he shall take 2 birds and a cedar wood and a scarlet string and hyssop, and he shall slaughter the one bird in an earthenware vessel over running water. Then he shall take the cedar wood and the hyssop and the scarlet string with the live bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird, as well as in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. He shall thus cleanse the house with blood and of the bird, and with the running water, along with the live bird, and with the cedar wood, and with his hyssop, and with the scarlet string. However, he shall let the live bird go free outside the city into the open field, so that he shall make atonement for the house, and it will be clean. This is the law of any mark of leprosy, even for a scale, and for the leprous garment or house, and for a swelling, and for a scab, and for a bright spot, to teach when they are unclean and when they are clean. This is the law of leprosy. So that's chapter 14. Maybe we're just going to do 15, 16, 17, and 18, because it's just 1, 2, 3, 4.5 more pages. Cleansing unhealthiness. The Lord also spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, When any man has a discharge from his body, his discharge is unclean. This, moreover, shall be his uncleanness in his discharge. It is his uncleanness whether his body allows it to discharge to flow, or whether his body obstructs its discharge. Every bed in which the person with discharge lies becomes unclean, and everything on which he sits becomes unclean. Anyone, moreover, who touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. And whoever sits on the thing on which the man with the discharge has been sitting shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. Also, whoever touches the person with the discharge shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. Or if the man with the discharge on one who is clean, he too shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. Every saddle on which the person with the discharge rides becomes unclean. Whoever then touches any of the things which were under him shall be unclean until evening, and he who carries them shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. Likewise, whomever the one which the discharge touches without having rinsed his hands in water shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. However, an earthenware vessel which the person with the discharge touches shall be broken, and every wooden vessel shall be rinsed in water. Now when the man with a discharge becomes cleansed from his discharge, then he shall count off for himself 7 days for his cleansing. He shall then wash his clothes and bathe his body in running water, and will become clean. Then on the 8th day he shall take for himself 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, and come before the Lord to the doorway of the tent of meeting, and give them to the priest. And the priest shall offer them one for a sin offering and one for a burnt offering. So the priest shall make atonement on his behalf before the Lord because of this discharge. Now if a man has a seminal emission, he shall bathe all in his body in water, and be unclean until evening. As for any garment or any leather on which there is a seminal emission, it shall be washed with water and be unclean until evening. If a man lies with a woman so that there is a seminal emission, they shall both bathe in water and be unclean until evening. When a woman has a discharge, if her discharge in her body is blood, she shall continue in her menstrual impurity for 7 days, and whoever touches her shall be unclean until evening. Everything also on which she lies during her menstrual impurity shall be unclean, and everything on which she sits shall be unclean. Anyone who touches her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. Whoever touches anything on which she sits shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening, whether it be on the bed or on the thing on which he is sitting. When he touches it, he shall be unclean until evening. If a man actually lies with her so that her menstrual impurity is on him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and every bed on which he lies shall be unclean. Now if a woman has a discharge of her blood many days, not a period of her menstrual impurity, or if she has a discharge beyond that period, all the days of her impure discharge, she shall continue as though in her menstrual impurity she is unclean. Any bed on which she lies all the days of her discharge shall be to her like her bed at menstruation, and everything on which she sits shall be unclean, like her uncleanness at the time. Likewise, whoever touches them shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. When she becomes clean from her discharge, she shall count off for herself 7 days, and afterward she will be clean. And then on the 8th day she shall take for herself 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, and bring them in the priest to the doorway of the tent of meetings. The priest shall offer the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. So the priest shall make atonement on her behalf before the Lord because of her impure discharge. Thus you shall keep the sons of Israel separated from their uncleanness, so they will not die in an uncleanness by their defiling my tabernacle that is among them. Thus is the law for one that is discharged, and for the man who has seminal emission, so that he is unclean by it, and for the woman who is ill because of menstrual impurity, and for the one who has a discharge, whether male or female, or woman who lies with an unclean woman. So that's just going like, he's keeping your juices to yourself. For one, health reasons. 2, like what it said at the end, we saw what happens when someone is unclean and impure next to God, and God's holiness and extreme purity is literally walking with them. So it makes things very dude, these comments are going crazy. Hold up. This guy, I gotta block him. He's over here cussing. Block. Dude, like, don't be cussing on my comments when I'm just reading the Bible. Come on, man. I am a UFC fighter. This guy's gotta get blocked too. Cussing. Guys, don't be cussing in my comments, man. I'm reading the Bible, man. Gotta block this guy too. Man, these guys were going wild. Sorry if you guys were reading any of those things when you're on here, but I had to block some people, sorry. Crazy, because I'm just reading the Bible and they're just going through wildness. But I'm back to it. So, yeah, in order, oh, dude, what's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for your Bible study. Bless you. God bless you. Shout out to Dom. He fought for me once. come and train with me again, dude. But back to this. Yeah, so God's literally with them. He's in camp with them, and being impure and dirty in front of God means that you can't, like, you'll die. So he's putting all these rules in place, not just for them to, like, not be sick and stuff, but, like, to keep them alive, because, like, his presence is so pure and strong that being unclean will mean that, that, like, they'll die. So he's like, guys, follow these things. Like they can't even look at him in the face, because he's like, his face is just like, the aura is too much. It's so glorified and pure and powerful. Like, he's like, and so just being in his presence is too much if you're not pure. So he's got all these rules down just to make sure that they're clean, because being clean means they can kind of be in his presence if they're following all the other rules as well. But, like, being unclean is a quick way to not be able to be in his presence whatsoever. So we'll do 16, 17, and 18. And then thanks for sharing the gospel. Of course, man. God bless you. So now the Lord spoke to Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron. See what I'm talking? See? Death of the two sons of Aaron. Just, they died because they weren't following what God told them to do. And didn't listen. The Lord said to Moses, tell your brother Aaron that he shall not enter at any time into the holy place inside the veil before the mercy seat which is on the ark, or he will die. For I paused. We good? We back. Shall enter the holy place for he will appear in the cloud over the mercy seat. Aaron shall enter the holy place with a bull for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. He shall put on the holy linen tunic, and the linen undergarment shall be next to his body, and he shall be girded with the linen sash, and attired with the linen turban. Those are the holy garments. Then he shall bathe his body in water and put them on. He shall take from the congregation of the sons of Israel 2 male goats for a sin offering, and 1 ram for a burnt offering. Then Aaron shall offer the bull for the sin offering, which is for himself, that he may make atonement for himself and for his household. He shall take the 2 goats and present them before the Lord at the doorway of the tent meeting. Aaron shall cast lots for the 2 goats, 1 lot for the Lord and the other lot for the scapegoat. Then Aaron shall offer the goat on which the lot for the Lord fell and make a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot for the scapegoat fell shall be presented alive before the Lord to make atonement upon it, to send it into the wilderness as the scapegoat. So scapegoat, they burning up goats, they put all the sin on 1 goat, and then they just send them into the wilderness. Then Aaron shall offer the bull of the sin offering which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his household, and shall slaughter the bull of the sin offering which is for himself. He shall take a firepan full of coals of fire from upon the altar before the Lord, and 2 handfuls of finely ground sweet incense, and bring it inside the veil. He shall put the incense on the fire before the Lord, that the cloud of incense may cover the mercy seat that is in the ark of the testimony, otherwise he will die. Moreover, he shall take some of the blood of the bull and sprinkle it with his finger on the mercy seat on the east side. Also in front of the mercy seat he shall sprinkle some of the blood with his first finger 7 times. Then he shall slaughter the goat of the sin offering which is of the people, and bring its blood inside the veil, and do with its blood as he did with the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it on the mercy seat and in front of the mercy seat. He shall make atonement for his holy place because of his impurities of the sons of Israel, and because of their transgressions in regard to all their sins. And thus he shall do for the tent of meetings which abides with them in the midst of their impurities. When he goes in to make atonement in a holy place, no one shall be in the tent of meeting until he comes out, that he may make atonement for himself and for his household and for all the assembly of Israel. Then he shall go out to the altar that is before the Lord, and make atonement for it, and shall take some of the blood of the bull and of the blood of the goat, and put it in the horns of the altar on all sides. With his finger he shall sprinkle some of the blood on it 7 times, and cleanse it, and from impurities of the sons of Israel consecrate it. When he finishes atoning for the holy place, and the tent of meeting, and the altar, he shall offer the live goat. Then Aaron shall lay both of his hands on his head, on the live goat, and confess over it all of the iniquities of the sons of Israel, and all the transgressions in regard of all their sins, and he shall lay them on the head of the goat, and send it away into the wilderness by hand of the man who stands in readiness. The goat shall bear it on itself all their iniquities to a solitary land, and he shall release the goat in the wilderness. Then Aaron shall come into the tent of meeting, and take off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the holy place, and shall leave them there. He shall bathe his body with water in a holy place, and put his clothes, and come forth and offer his burnt offering on the burnt offering of the people, and people atonement for himself and for the people. Then he shall offer up in smoke the fat of the sin offering on the altar. Then the one who released the goat as the scapegoat shall wash his clothes and bathe his body with water. Then afterward he shall come into the camp. But the bull of the sin offering and the goat of the sin offering, whose blood was brought into to make atonement of the holy place, shall be taken outside the camp, and they shall burn their hides, their flesh, and their refuse in the fire. Then the one who burns them shall wash his clothes and bathe his body with water, and afterward he shall come into the camp. This shall be a permanent statute for you in the 7th month. On the 10th day of the month you shall humble your souls and not do any work, whether the native or the alien who sojourns among you. For it is on this day of atonement shall be made for you to cleanse you. You will be cleansed from all your sins before the Lord. It is to be a Sabbath of solemn rest for you, and you may humble your souls. It is a permanent statute. So the priest who is anointed and ordained to serve as a priest in his father's place shall make atonement. He shall thus put on the linen garments, the holy garments, and make atonement for the holy sanctuary. And he shall make atonement for his tent of meeting and for the altar. He shall also make atonement for the priests and all for the people as of the assembly. Now you shall have this as a permanent statute, to make atonement for the sons of Israel for all of their sins once every year. And just as the Lord had commanded Moses, so he did. So they do that scapegoat, cleansing everybody annually. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, and to all the sons of Israel, and say to them, This is what the Lord has commanded, saying, Any man from my house of Israel who slaughters an ox or a lamb or a goat in the camp, or who slaughters it outside the camp, and has not brought it to the doorway to the tent meeting to present it as an offering to the Lord before the tabernacle of the Lord, blood guiltiness is to be reckoned to that man. He has shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among his people. The reason is so that the sons of Israel may bring their sacrifices which they were sacrificing in the open field, that they may bring them to the Lord at the door of the tent meeting to the priest, and sacrifice them as a sacrifice of peace offerings to the Lord. The priest shall sprinkle the blood on the altar and the Lord at the doorway of the tent meeting, and offer up the fat and smoke as a soothing aroma to the Lord. They shall no longer sacrifice their sacrifices to the goat demons with which they play the harlot. They shall be a permanent statute to them throughout their generations. Then you shall say to them, Any man from the house of Israel, or from the aliens who sojourn among them, who offers a burnt offering or sacrifice, and does not bring it to the doorway of the tent of meeting to offer it to the Lord, that man also shall be cut off from his people. And any man from the house of Israel or from the aliens who sojourn among them, who eats any blood, I will set my face against the place who eats blood, and I will cut them off from among his people. So, just give a little background. This whole blood, the sprinkling the blood and all that, blood is super important. They're not supposed to, because blood is life. It's like during Passover, they put the blood on the thing, because life protects life. And you have to give up life in order to be cleansed. That's why Jesus gave his life for us, to have that cleansing. We're not supposed to we're not supposed to be drinking the blood. Those are kind of things that people that worshipped other gods at the time were doing, and they also were, it said, like, they were worshiping the other goat and bulls and all that other kinds of stuff. They're worshiping deities that resembled these animals. And so it's also saying that all the sacrifices that you do for the God of Israel, you got to do right there on the tent. You can't do it. You can't do a sacrifice for God and have it be somewhere else. Like, that's not going to count, and it's actually going to be like frowned upon, right? That's what you're not supposed to do. More than frowned upon. And so, like, that's just what all this is saying right here. And say them, any man from the house of Israel or from any aliens who sojourn among them who offers a burnt offering or sacrifice and does not bring it to the door of the tent meeting to offer it of the Lord, that man shall also be cut off from the people. So, like I said, way more than frowned upon. You're like, if you're making an offering, if you say you're making an offering to God and you're not making it where you're supposed to make an offering to God, then you're not really making an offering to God. And all they do, to be an Israelite, you have to only worship that one God. So you out of here if you ain't making that worship to God, making that offering to God. And any man from the house of Israel or from any other aliens who sojourn among them who eats any blood, I will set my face against that person who eats blood and will cut him off from among his people. So it's the same thing. It's saying that like, he has rules against that. You shouldn't be consuming life. That's not for us to do. Life being blood against people, among his people. For the life of the flesh is the blood, and I have given it to you on the altar to make atonement for your souls, and for it is the blood by reason of the life that makes the atonement. The life cleanses, the blood cleanses. Therefore I said to the sons of Israel, no person among you may eat blood, nor may any alien who sojourns among you eat blood. So when any man from the sons of Israel or from the aliens who sojourn among them in hunting catches a beast or a bird which may be eaten, he shall pour out its blood and cover it with earth. As far as the life of all the flesh, its blood is identified with its life. Therefore I said, the sons of Israel, you are not to eat the blood of any flesh, for the life of all the flesh is in its blood. Whoever eats it shall be cut off. When any person eats an animal which dies, or it is torn by beasts, whether he is a native or an alien, he shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and remain unclean until evening. Then he will become clean. But if he does not wash them or bathe in his body, then he shall bear his guilt. Last chapter. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, I am the Lord your God. You shall not do what is done in the land of Egypt where you lived, nor are you to do what is done in the land of Canaan where I am bringing you. You shall not walk in their statutes. You are to perform my judgments and keep my statutes to live in accord with them. I am the Lord your God. So you shall keep my statutes and my judgments by which a man may live. If he does them, I am the Lord. None of you shall approach any blood relative of his to uncover nakedness. I am the Lord. So he's saying no incest. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father, that is the nakedness of your mother. She is your mother. You are not to uncover her nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife. It is your father's nakedness. The nakedness of your sister, either your father's daughter or your mother's daughter, whether born at home or born outside, their nakedness you shall not uncover. The nakedness of your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter, their nakedness you shall not uncover, for their nakedness is yours. The nakedness of your father's wife's daughter born to your father, she is your sister, you shall not uncover her nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's sister, she is your father's blood relative. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, for she is your mother's blood relative. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's brother. You shall not approach his wife, she is your aunt. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your daughter-in-law, she is your son's wife. You shall not uncover her nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your brother's wife, it is your brother's nakedness. You shall not uncover the nakedness of a woman and of her daughter, nor shall you take her daughter's or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness. They are blood relatives, it is lewdness. You shall not marry a woman in addition to her sister as a rival while she is alive to uncover her nakedness. Also, you shall not approach a woman to uncover her nakedness during her menstrual impurity. You shall not have intercourse with your neighbor's wife to be defiled with her. You shall not give any of your offspring to offer them to Molech, nor shall ye profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. Molech being a deity where a lot of child sacrifice was going on with. So he's saying that, like, don't give up, don't offer your offspring to that God. You shall not lie with a male as one lies with a female. It is an abomination. Also, you shall not have intercourse with any animal to be defiled with, nor shall any woman stand before an animal to mate with. It is perversion. So also saying, don't have sex with, if you're a dude, don't have sex with other dudes. He's also saying, if you are, don't have sex with animals either. Do not defile yourself by any of these things, for by all these nations which I am casting out before you have become defiled. For the land has become defiled, therefore I have brought its punishment upon it, so the land has spewed out its inhabitants. But as for you, you are to keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not do any of these abominations, neither the native nor the alien who sojourns among you. For the man of the land who have been before you have done all these abominations, and the land has become defiled. So the land will not spew you out, should you defile it, as it has spewed out the nation which has been before you. For whoever does any of these abominations, those persons who do so shall be cut off from among their people. Thus you are to keep my charge, that you do not practice any of the abominable customs which have been practiced before you, so not to defile yourselves with them. I am the Lord your God. And that's chapter 18. We're on chapter 19. How many chapters does Leviticus have? Leviticus has 27 chapters. So we more than halfway through Leviticus already. And we got Numbers, and I think it's Deuteronomy. Joshua. Alright. But God bless, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed reading the Bible with me. And I just pray that you guys all have a good day today, that God is walking with you, and not just walking with you. He is walking with you, but I just pray that you guys understand that He wants what's best for you, and that you're never alone. When you feel you're alone, seek Him out. He'll get you through anything that you need to get through, because He doesn't promise nothing but good times when you're with Him. The Bible promises that you're going to go through good times and bad times, but He'll give you peace through it all. So just remember, you're not going through it alone, and that however bad the situation may be, it will be used for good and the glory, and bring glory for His kingdom. Let's go, man. You're such an inspiration. Great to see you. God for you, man. An occupation that doesn't produce me. I appreciate you, man. God bless you as well. And yeah, just God bless you guys. Spend time with your family. Remember, don't be stressed out today. Don't be worried about the things that are of tomorrow. Today has enough worries on its own. So that's awesome in the Bible. But yeah, love you guys. God bless.